Hello, my name is Annie O'Farrell, and I will be introducing you to our crime scene investigation. Now I will tell you the story of the lost map. Captain Thomas assembled a crew of the greatest sailors to sail an island off the coast of Indonesia. We are on a mission to find treasure. One night, it was stormy, and the radar equipment were going haywire. Soon, Captain Thomas's ship crashed. Many of his crew were injured or knocked unconscious by falling debris. Almost 8 hours later, Captain Thomas finally woke up and was informed that he'd been unconscious. Captain Thomas got out of bed and looked in a secret chest. He was in a panic. The map was missing. Captain Thomas and STEM 6 were on the case. Captain Thomas is calling on Medical A to help the injured crewmates.
Hi, we're the medical examiners A. My name is Logan Edmond.
Brandon Crouch. Cole Wicker.
Many people were injured during the shipwreck, and Dr. Smart needed help applying splints to the injured people. Dr. Smart later informed us that Chief Stewart was having respiratory problems. Chief Stewart was having shortness of breath and wheezing. We learned about the lungs to help Dr. Smart. Braden will tell us more about a model lung.
Hi, my name is Braden. This is a lung model. It basically shows what a lung looks like. If you pull the bottom balloon, the balloon inside inflates. The straw acts like a trachea. This is what you need to make one. This is what you need: clay, 2 balloons, a straw, and a cup. First, you put the balloon on the straw. Then you poke a hole in the cup and put the straw in the hole. Last, you put the last balloon on the bottom of the cup and put the clay where the straw was inserted. To block any air from entering the cup. The cup represents the ribs that protect the lungs. The bottom balloon is like the diaphragm. So when the diaphragm contracts, the lungs inflates. Cole will tell us more about how to make a splint.
While trying to find half of the missing map, many of the crew members were injured. I'm going to show you how to make a splint and when to use it. Splints are used for open fractures, which means there is torn skin over the break, a closed fracture, which has no broken skin over the break, a simple fracture has just one break and that's all. A complex fracture has multiple breaks or pieces of crushed bone. Now me and my partner Logan will give an example of putting on a splint. For a simple fracture that's on the arm, this is called a sugar tong splint. Need you to put your arm down, please. Alright, and then I want you to put your arm inside of it. Thank you. Lift up your arm for me, please. Again, lift it. Thank you. This is called a sugar tong splint. It is used for when you have a fracture in your arm.
Hi, I'm Logan.
Hi, I'm Magnus.
And I'm Gerard.
We're the STEM 6 engineering specialists. To help the missing crew members get back to safety, we had to build and program robots. My friend Magnus is going to talk about the M-bots.
Where's my speech? Oh, well, thank you, Psycho. You might be thinking to yourself, what is an M-bot? Well, to answer that for you, an M-bot is a revolutionary little robot that changes the programming game forever. It uses the best, most efficient, and entertaining ways to teach kids and adults of all ages how to code. You basically download an app called MBlock Blockly, and you can either go through the tutorial/series of levels where you learn how to code your robot and what things do what, or you can do a free coder like Coding Sandbox, where you can use your imagination to program your robot to do anything you want it to do. It doesn't only teach you to code, though. It can also teach you basic driving with an electronic device, or as I call it, the magical controller of cellular power. Personally, one of my favorite things to do is practice driving from different point of views or angles. M-bots are really amazing, and you should really consider looking at or even buying one for yourself. Now back to Logan for some more storyline.
Thank you, Magnus. We successfully rescued the missing crew members, but the island is flooding. To keep researching the island, we had to build a bridge. Gerard will tell you about it.
Thank you, Logan. Have you ever wanted to become an engineer or architect who builds unstable bridges out of paper clips and straws? Me too. One of our engineering problems this week was to create a stable bridge out of paper clips and straws. Triangles were commonly used because they're the strongest shape in nature, letting the bridge be strong yet supportive. This use of triangles is seen in the truss bridge. As Logan explained, we needed a bridge to cross the flooded part of the island so we could continue researching it. But to make a stable bridge out of cheap things took teamwork, cooperation, engineering, and an architect's mind. Thank you. Now back to Logan for the story.
Thank you, George. The crew members had some injuries that medical examiner B will now tell you about.
Hello, we're medical examiners B. Today we're going to be talking about heart dissection and snake bites. Hi, I'm Agent. Have you ever wanted to dissect a cow heart? I haven't, but things happen. The captain sent us mail explaining the symptoms of one of his crewmates. He stated that the crewmate was experiencing symptoms related to the cardiovascular system. Dr. Smart thought of this as an opportunity to learn more about the heart. So he had provided us with hearts to dissect so we could understand his treatment. Mackenzie will tell us more about the cardiovascular system.
So as you guys know, we dissected a cow heart. There's a lot of veins and fat on the cow heart. If you didn't already know, blood gets pumped through the body through the heart. Blood carries oxygen you need to live. The heart also needs oxygen to live. In a human body, the left ventricle pumps oxygen-rich blood through the aorta and back up to the entire body. Then in the right ventricle, blood is pumped to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. But a human heart and cow heart are different. During the dissection, each group got one pair of scissors. The person who had the scissors would cut any part of the heart. I cut off some meat and fat, and Chloe, Paul, and Janika and Charlie cut the inside. It smelled really bad and was very gooey. It was also very hard. Next up, snake bites.
Hello, I'm Chloe. Have you ever got bit by a venomous snake? First is the neurotoxic venom from the snake bite effect. The snake bite affects the brain and nervous system. On that occasion, you may not be able to get signals like if you're touching a hot stove and not notice. You could also become delusional. Hemotoxic venom will affect your blood. That will most likely cause blood clots, which will stop blood flow. Both neurotoxic and hemotoxic venom may both become fatal unless given the correct treatment. What you do after you've gotten bit, you should immediately take off jewelry like rings or anything that would affect your blood flow. Next, you want to remain calm and slowly walk away from the location. You could also put on a splint and call 911. But what you don't want to do is run away or try to capture the snake. They will take that as a threat and attack you again. Don't try to suck out the venom. It's no use. You'll just get more germs in the wound. Also, do not raise the spot where the wound is. The venom will move to the heart faster. And also, do not try to cut open the wound because you could get infected, and it most likely has already traveled too far up for you to get it out. Next, Charlie.
Hi, I'm Charlotte, but you can call me Charlie. Now tell me. Well, actually don't. This is a rhetorical question. Have you ever thought you were Dora the Explorer, and by the time you're past 8, that is pretty weird? It could be the effects of a neurotoxic snakebite. It makes you hallucinate, just like Chloe said. And in our story, Dr. Smart diagnosed first mate Sydney Young with a hemotoxic snakebite, a bite that affects the blood and not the brain. So she could not have been hallucinating, since it causes blood clots. She told the crew that shipwright Robert Neff had kidnapped her, and since they knew she wasn't hallucinating, then they found the culprit. And next up, we have blood splatter.
Hello, we are the blood splatter analysis team. I am Matthew, and this is my friend Prince. In a letter from the captain, we learned that some of the crew is missing or injured and bleeding. Dr. Smart has a cut on his hand. The captain and the first mate had deep cuts on their heads. At the crime scene, there was blood splattered, so we had to drop blood from certain heights so we could see where on the body the blood came from. Prince will explain how we analyzed the blood splatter and used it to find the suspect.
We started dropping blood from different heights to determine where the blood fell from. We dropped blood from 66, 30, and 12 inches. Then we measured the size of the drop from each height. We added each of the numbers and divide that by the number of the drops to find the average. From our calculation, our team saw that the blood that fell from lower, we compared our samples to the blood splatter found at the crime scenes and learned that the blood fell from between 12 and 30 inches. Because of this, we think it came from Dr. Smart's hands.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne. I will be telling you about some of the evidence found at the crime scene. At the scene, there was a mystery powder and an overturned cup with fingerprints. Carolina will tell you how we determined what the mystery powder was. Carolina?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Carolina, and this week we tested white powders with different liquids, such as vinegar, iodine, and water, to see if they would have a chemical reaction. There was a mystery powder, so we compared all the powders to the mystery powder. We either suspected powdered sugar or cornstarch, but based on the reaction, we concluded the mystery powder was cornstarch. When we put the iodine in the mystery powder, it turned purple just like the cornstarch, which was very interesting in my opinion. If you want to learn more about testing powders with different liquids, then try it at home with your household items.
For the fingerprints, we had to find out whose they were. Once we knew whose they were, we knew who came up with the plan. Now, Isabella will tell you more about the fingerprints.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Isabella Chinara, and I will talk about how we did our fingerprint experiment and who stole the map. There are 3 types of fingerprints: arches, loops, and whorls. The types of fingerprints will help us because then we will be able to tell easier because everybody's fingerprint is different. When we did the experiment, we used cocoa powder tape and a makeup brush. First, we dipped the brush into cocoa powder and we tapped off the excess powder so we will be able to see the fingerprint. After that, we put the tape on the paper so we could see it better, so we can tell whose it is. Once we looked closely at the fingerprints, we saw that it was Mr. Neff's. We got some new mail and they said they found out it was Dr. Smart. In conclusion, Dr. Smart and Mr. Neff were working together to take the map.
Based on all the evidence our STEM group has submitted, we believe that Dr. Smart and Shipwright Neff are guilty of stealing the ancient map.